I am talking about Return to Oz, which is a Disney movie after The Wizard of Oz. It came out in 1985. This movie was actually very creepy. For instance, these things. So, and I'm going to talk about this movie. So the movie is set 6 months after Dorothy came from Oz and after the tornado. Crazy. So basically Dorothy's having problems sleeping. Aunt Em's like, well, you have to go to sleep. You know, basically she's struggling. Well, then you see her uncle with electronic, like, basically it is an electric shock treatment paper. So they decide they're going to take Dorothy to a doctor. They do not believe her about Oz. Even Dorothy finds a key and she tells Aunt Em, look, Aunt Em, the key, it's from Oz. My friends from Oz sent it. And Aunt Em's like, what did I tell you, Dorothy? And then also one thing I thought was just, Aunt Em is like, you have to, I know you don't want to go to the doctor, but you have to go to the doctor because you're, used to me in the morning. She's a kid, but wow. But anyway, so her and Aunt Em go to the doctor, but this doctor is not any doctor. This doctor is at an asylum base. They take her there and he pulls out this machine and he tells her, look at the face, like it's got a face. This is electric shock treatment, like, machine. And he's, oh, look at its face, it's got eyes, a nose, and a mouth. I thought that was a wild scene. We also have a scene where young Dorothy is telling us about the Tin Man cutting off body parts of his and how it became tin, and how he cut his leg off and he got a tin leg made, and then a witch enchanted his axe and he proceeds to cut the rest of his body off. And no one even, like the doctor, Aunt Em, no one even flashes like a bit of concern about this, which is wild to me. Well, anyway, we also see this little girl and the reflection on the machine, the electroshock treatment machine. And we're like, I didn't know if this was a ghost or what, because Dorothy looks back and sees her in the mirror, but she doesn't look like anybody else sees this little girl. So then Aunt Em leaves Dorothy and says she will be back in the morning to get her, but she has to go back to her uncle. She leaves. Dorothy goes to this room, very creepy hallways. The head nurse lady is very creepy. Takes her in there, tells her, if you want to take a nap while you're waiting on us, that's fine. This place was super creepy. I don't even know how she could have taken a nap. Then we see the little girl that we saw in the mirror in Dorothy's room, and she comes in and gives her a pumpkin and says, well, Halloween is soon. And then she says, Dorothy, why are you here? And Dorothy explains that she has problems sleeping, and she talks about a place that nobody else believes exists. So we get that, and then the little girl is like, I gotta go. And then just Dorothy looks away, and you notice the little girl is gone, like she disappeared. Really crazy part, because you're like, you think this little girl is probably a ghost. You're not exactly sure at this moment. Then they get ready to take Dorothy down. They put her on a gurney and tell her that they're going to have to strap her to the gurney. So they strap her to the gurney and wheel her into this room right here. They take her in there and they're going to start electric shock treatment. And as soon as they go to try to do it, the lights, boom, go out. They go try to deal with that. They leave her in the room. She's like stuck tied to this gurney, like moving around. And then she sees someone take these things that were on her ears for electric off. And it is the little girl, and she unties her, and her and Dorothy run, and they try to escape. Well, the head nurse lady chases after them, and you see them slide down the hill. And then this scene was wild. They fall into the water, and they're like swimming, and you see the little girl and Dorothy hold on to this thing. It looks like a crib or like a crate, but it's got bars, and they're holding on to it. And you don't see the other little girl, but you see the headmistress jumps in the water too, but she doesn't go like into the water after them. Like she's in there, but she's not like in the water swimming towards them. So then you don't see the little girl, and then you see Dorothy climb into this crate and lay in it. And then you see her wake up, and when she wakes up, her hen from Kansas is in the like crate thing. And they're in this mini pond place. And slowly the water proceeds, and then she realizes that she is in Oz and that her chicken is talking. So she goes and they go into Oz. She finds the yellow brick road tore up, and she finds her old house. When she finds the yellow brick road tore up, she does not even know what to make of it. She is not understanding. So she goes to the Emerald City, which this is what the Emerald City looked like. It was not doing it for me. I would have thought more colors, more brightness, more wow factor. It was not very wowing to me. But she gets there, she realizes something horrible has happened. Everyone has turned to stone. She cannot find nobody, and then there's this sign, look out for the Wheelers, or beware of Wheelers, something like that. These are the Wheelers, by the way. These are wild, and they're crazy looking. They make noise. They chase Dorothy down, and she uses the key that she found to unlock a door, and the door shuts, and you can still hear the Wheelers outside talking about how they're going to get Dorothy and take her to the desert, the deadly desert, which if anybody touches it in Oz, they turn to sand. They're going to cut her up and throw her in the deadly desert, is what they said. I was like, if I was a kid and watched that movie, I feel like I would have been like scared. Yeah. Even as an adult, I thought it was really creepy. It was like, whoa. But anyway, so she goes in there and she finds, it's one guy, he's like a tin robot, this is him right here, and he is the army of Oz, which I thought was super cool, and you have to wind him up though. So she winds him up, and she's trying to figure out where the Scarecrow was, because when she left Oz, he was King of Oz. She still cannot find him, so she's trying to ask the Tin Man what he says, and he says that he has been waiting on her, and that the Scarecrow sent him there to wait on Dorothy. And when Dorothy didn't come, he ran down his batteries, is why he has to be wound up. So they don't know where the Scarecrow is, but he's figuring out that he's going to figure out from the Wheelers. So they manage to go outside. He beats up the Wheelers in this crazy scene right here. And he gets one of them and asks them where the Scarecrow is. And the Wheeler guy is like, I don't know where the Scarecrow is. The only person that knows is Mombi, Princess Mombi. And then Dorothy's like, I don't know no Princess Mombi. So they go to Princess Mombi, which is even crazier. And she looks normal at first. She's playing like a little instrument. And then you see, she takes Dorothy into this room to change her head. Mombi has a whole room, this is the scene right here, a whole room full of heads. And they're missing. Like, she takes her head off and puts a different head on. And then she tells Dorothy that, like, in a few years, yeah, you might be pretty, you might be pretty enough. Like, you'll be different than all my other heads. Like, I'll keep you for a few years, and then and use it for myself. So you're like, so she takes Dorothy to a tower, locks her in it. She finds this guy right here, Jack, like Pumpkinhead or Jack, and he's asking her if she knows where his mother is, and that his mother made him to scare off Mombi, but then Mombi saw him, got scared, and then got angry, but threw this life dust on him. And the life dust brought him to life, and Dorothy is like really interested in this. So she decides that her friends are going to help her build a makeshift thing that they can get out, like a ship, and then they're going to put life dust on it and fly away. So, but she's got to get past Mombi, and she's got to get Mombi's key. So she goes, steals Mombi's key, but on the way to get the life dust, Mombi's real head is in the cabinet. So she pulls out it, and the head sees and starts screaming. And then this scene was wild. So Mombi's body's coming without a head, and I'm like, as a kid, whoa, that would terrify me. But anyway, so she gets there, they manage to escape in the flying ship. They put it on it. They're flying, they go to the Gnome King, trying to figure out what he has to do. He said he took the ruby slippers, and that's how he became so powerful and how he took over Oz. So when Dorothy left Oz, her slippers fell off, he found them. She ends up saving the Scarecrow and all of her friends, and they find out that the little girl that we thought was a ghost was actually a princess. Before the wizard came, her father, I believe, was King of Oz. So we find that out, and it was just wild. This movie was creepy. This movie had so many creepy parts. So many parts where you were like, wow, as a kid, that's wild. I do not know if the book, I've heard that the book is very similar or very like that. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this commentary with Hayley. I will see you again in my next video. Bye guys.